Okay, guys, let's look at the next student task statement, which is called waiting table. During one waiter's shift, he delivered 13 appetizers, 17 entrees, and 10 desserts. It's saying what percentage of the dishes he delivered were desserts, appetizers, and entrees. Okay. The next one, it says, what do your percentages add up to? Okay. Now in your guys' book that you have more room compared to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did in the warm-up. I'm going to associate each one with a color, each letter with a color, which means dessert is going to be blue. Appetizers is going to be red. And entrees is going to be green. All right. I'm going to partition my paper into 3 sections. And we're going to start off. All right. So it's asking for what percentage. Now with this one, we're going to use the part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay, why? Because it's not directly telling us is over of. It's talking about how much did he deliver total compared in each portion of that. So the first thing we need to do is to find the whole. All right. So the whole is the total amount, which is these 3 numbers. What I want to do is I want to add them together to figure out what's my whole. All right. So 13 plus 17. 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. So this would be equal 30. You probably be at home saying, why did I do it like that? It's because, I don't know, I just like breaking it down to make it easier for you guys to add. And then I want to add 30 plus 10, which equals 40. So our whole in this problem is 40. Regardless of if it was a dessert, appetizer, or entree, he delivered 40 dishes, okay? So in the first one, which is dessert, he delivered 10 desserts. And the whole is 40. And we're looking for what percent. So percent is missing. Okay. So I could cross multiply, which is use the high heel method. So 10 times 100 divided by 40. 10 times 100 is 1,000 over 40. And then I can scratch out the zeros because that's like me simplifying the fraction by 10. And then I have 100 divided by 4. And 100 divided by 4 is 25. So therefore, it would be 25%. Okay? And I want you guys to think of it as how many quarters are in a $1 bill. There's 4 quarters in $1 bill because a quarter is 25 cents. But yeah. Anyways, to the next one, which is the appetizer. The appetizer, there were 13 appetizers over 40. And the percent is still missing. So I'm going to multiply 13 times 100 divided by 40. So that would be 1,300 divided by 40. I'm going to scratch out the zeros. And then I'm going to have 4 divided by 130. You ask yourself, well, how many times can 4 go into 130 without going over? 4 going to 13. 4 can go into 13 3 times, which is 12. Okay. 4 can go into 10 how many times? Twice. And what I want to do is add my decimal. Yes, a percentage can have a decimal. Add my 0 and drop it. So then, how many times can 4 go into 20? If you guess 5 times, you are absolutely correct. So it's going to be 32.5%. Okay. So then my last one is the entrees, which the entrees is 17 over 40 equals blank over 100. And what I want to do is I want to multiply going across. I'm dividing by 40. So 17 times 100 be 1,700 divided by 40. I want to scratch out the zeros because we don't need that. Now you ask yourself, how many times can 4 go into 17 without going over? If you guess 4 times, you're absolutely correct. How many times can 4 go into 10? Oops, I'm sorry about that. I hate when my iPad does that. I'm sorry. 4 can go into 10 twice, which is 8. Add my decimal, drop it. And how many times can 4 go into 20? And that's 5 times. All right. So it's going to be 42.5%, or 42 and 5/10%. Okay. So what you want to do is, for the next one, you just want to add them all together. So I'm going to add 25%. That's my desserts. Remember, desserts was blue. I'm adding, which I'm going to add, put a plus sign. I'm adding the appetizers, which was 32.5 or 32.5%. And then the next one would be 42.5%. Okay. So if you guys have a calculator at home, or you're using your Chromebook and you want to add these numbers together, you can. All right. I want to use the associative property to break it down, but we know that, I'm going to break it down, that 0.5 plus 0.5 equals 1. So I'm pulling those 0.5s, taking them away, and I'm going to put 42. So just know that that's where that 1 comes from. Those 5/10 are, those halves are getting added, and they're going to equal 1. So I'm going to put 42 plus 32 plus 25. And why I did that is just so it could, help you guys develop, make connections and develop those fluency skills. So 25, well, let's do this. All right. 32 plus 42, which would equal 74 plus 1 plus 25. Okay. Now I have 71 plus 1, which is 75 plus 25. Okay. If we go back to our quarters and a dollar analogy, right, 25 cents plus 75 cents will give me $1 whole. So therefore, 25 plus 75 would give me 100. Okay, but we're still talking about percentages, so it will give me 100%. All right. So I want you guys to think about that. Would all percentages add up to 100 if we're finding like each portion of the whole? If we're adding up each portion of the whole, would it all add up to 100 each time? So I want you guys to think about that. All right. If you had issues with this problem or even the warm-up, make sure you guys visit that your manager's Google Meet session. And I'll see you guys in the next problem.